Hello, students. Welcome to EasyElimu Learning Simplified. I am your teacher, Mr. Stanley Umbogo. So, dear students, allow me to take this opportunity, that is to take you through Chapter 4, Character Portrayal. That is an artist of the floating world, the last chapter, or the last episode, that is episode 4 of June 1950. That is by looking at the character and characterization of some of the characters that we come across in this last chapter. So to begin with, we have Mrs. Kawakami. So dear students, from the novel, we learn that Mrs. Kawakami is the owner of a bar in the pleasure district that Ono commonly visits. And again, we also learn that she is a good friend to Ono. So in the novel, An Artist of the Floating World, Mrs. Kawakami is portrayed as someone who is optimistic and hopeful. So this is because we see that she remains hopeful all through the novel that the pleasure district will be reborn. However, by the end of the novel, she sells her bar for redevelopment as offices. So she still rejects selling her bar because she hopes businesses will recover. So another thing about Mrs. Kawakami is that she is hardworking, or we can also say industrious. So looking at how her bar started and how it grows, she surely is hardworking. And again, we also learn that from the conversations that they have with Ono and the likes of Shintaro, who are her frequent customers. So the second character that we also have in this last chapter is Masuji Ono. So remember that Masuji Ono is an aging artist who created propaganda for the Japanese during the Second World War and is now preoccupied after the war with assessing his legacy. So some of the character traits portrayed by Masuji Ono in this chapter is that the first one is that is Ono is friendly. So in the last chapter, Ono talks about visiting Matsuda, and for some moments they talked of small matters and of mutual acquaintances. So that talks about the mutual friendship that they shared with Matsuda before his demise. So another thing we learn from the chapter, dear students, is that Ono is appreciative. So Ono remembered to thank Matsuda for his letter of encouragement at a time he was ill. So Ono also gives credit to Matsuda for composing a manifesto for the China crisis campaign, citing that those were the most modest of aspirations. So we get to learn about this again in the conversation that they are having, and as they also flash back and reminisce some of the past struggles that they also went through. So another thing that we learn from, or another trait that we can also get from Ono in this chapter is that he is observant. So as Masuda was feeding the cup, Ono noticed 2 or 3 carp that had come to the surface of the water, and their scales were glistening in the sunlight. So apart from that, Ono is keen to notice the changes in the area the pleasure district used to be. So he says that the area had been rebuilt, and it had become quite unrecognizable. That is comparing it with the past pleasure district that they used to know about, or that they used to visit. So Ono is also hopeful or optimistic. So at the end of the novel, dear students, Ono is hopeful that the nation has now another chance to make a better go of things, despite the mistakes that it may have made in the past. So we are also coming across the third character, that is Chishu Matsuda. So Chishu Matsuda is a nationalist and art appreciator. before the war. So he influences Ono to take a new direction in his art. So we also learn from the novel that Masuda believes that artists are failing to address the social and political problems around them. And he mocks Ono's naive attitude towards the world. So some of the character traits or portrayals that we see or we are able to identify from Chishi Masuda is that one, he is keen and observant. So this is seen when he remarks that Ono appears to have made a good recovery after his recent illness. So he further tells Ono that he'd never guessed he had been ill so recently. That is when he looked at him. So he, in other words, he is talking about Ono's quick recuperation, and he's also admiring Ono's health. So another thing about Chishi Masuda in this chapter, dear students, is that he is envious. So he envies. We learn and we also understand that he envies Ono's health. So when Ono visits and Matsuda notices his quick recovery, he goes ahead and tells Ono that I have to sit here and envy your health. Remember, Chishi Masuda has also been, ill. That is bedridden for a long time. That is why he has that is a nurse and a nurse that doubles as a house helper by the name Mrs. Suzuki. So Matsuda has no wife, has no children, and that is who he is. So another thing is that he is concerned. That is, we see or we can confirm this trait when he inquires to know whether Noriko, that is Ono's younger daughter, who has been recently married, is happy. That is, having heard that the marriage went through successfully. So remember in the previous episode, Masuji Ono pays him a visit, that is to corroborate if at all there are detectives who had visited the previous year that maybe prevented, Norika's first marriage negotiation. So another thing that we learn about Chishi Masuda is that he is inquisitive. So Masuda asks Ono a lot of questions during their conversation. For example, he asks Ono if he is still painting like the old days. So he also has, some sense of humor. He is humorous. So when Ono says that he finds it hard to think of the world extending much beyond the city, Matsuda responds by saying that he finds it hard to think that the world is beyond his garden these days. So they laugh together as Masuda sip from his teacup. So you can also see that Chichi Masuda is someone who, apart from being envious, concerned, inquisitive, they also have some good sense of humor. So another character trait that we are also able to identify from Chishi Masuda is that he is alert. So this is seen when the clock began to chime and he tells Ono that it is the time to feed the cup. So the last character that we come across in this chapter, dear students, is a character by the name Mrs. Suzuki, that is to wind it up with. Mrs. Suzuki is a minor character. So remember, she is Chishi Masuda's nurse, who also doubles up as the house help. So Mrs. Suzuki is hospitable, and this is seen during Ono's visit when she invites him into the reception, and she goes ahead and serves him tea. So this brings us to the end of the session, dear students. Thank you for watching till the end, and again, thank you for keeping it easy, Elimu. Until next time, once again, I'm your teacher, Mr. Stanley Ombogo. Bye.